race the highest precipice of society, you will probably find white people. And churches are excellent tools to continue racism, sexism, queerphobia, homophobia, transphobia, because it's all about what the white man or the godly privilege can get them. They don't care about anybody but what their white privilege can get them. And the end always justifies the means. Electing Trump, who will crush trans people, is worth it to these people, because at the end of the day, they'll have an advantage over other people. And at every church I've ever been to, anyone who wasn't heteronormative, if men didn't have a high sex drive and women didn't enjoy sex, anything else was completely, it's like it didn't exist. I didn't even work or meet any people from the trans community until halfway through my 20s, closer toward the rear half of the 20s. And to grow up never understanding that not everybody fits this tiny little bubble that people are pushed into, how does it affect their mental health? I mean, when your Bible, the symbol of your religion, tells the followers to kill people for being trans, or that they're going to hell, this is a hate group. Any institution or church that does not support trans people, who knows that these people are so marginalized that half of them probably have attempted suicide and chooses not to help, support, and offer care, is a hate group. And anyone who's in these hate groups are transphobic adjacent. And you don't have to be a mean person to be transphobic. Some of the most moral people on this planet are transphobic. My family. Because the majority of heterosexual people don't want everyone to have equal privilege, equal rights, because then they're not special anymore. And a society that knows these things are happening, doesn't educate the next generation, donates money to legislate and get laws passed that harm people, is a hate group. Any church I was in that completely erased, denied, and never supported people who weren't heterosexual are hate groups. And it's so prevalent in our culture. Transphobia, if you ask a MAGA, is transphobia a patriotic behavior? They probably say yes. And it shouldn't be. It should never be a positive thing. And trans people under Trump's administration, I can't imagine how afraid they are. I can probably guess, because I've studied a lot of history, but every group that targets minorities and vulnerable people is a hate group. And the people who elected Trump into the presidency is a hate group. Because you can't support somebody who hates trans people without being transphobic. You can't. Cause and effect. You elect a transphobic president, the voters are transphobic by association. Things have gotten better for trans people. But the more red your state is, the less your kids will ever grow up knowing about diversity. Parents who don't want their kids exposed to the realities of living in a fluid society are teaching their kids to be transphobic without if you don't teach your kids to respect everybody, and you intentionally don't teach them about certain things, you are creating transphobic people. It's not grooming to teach kids in school that there are different people around them. It's not grooming to teach people that you don't have to fit into a tiny little box known as the patriarchy. It is grooming to intentionally keep your kids from learning about different kinds of people. Removing your kid from a class that's giving them vital information about differences in people, gender, and the way people live their lives is grooming your children. Parents who don't want their kids exposed to the realities of living in a transphobic society is grooming. Protecting your kids is not isolating them. Protecting your kids doesn't mean teaching and indoctrinating them with your own religious beliefs. You want to protect your children? Teach them what hate speech looks like, what hate crimes look like, who the real villains are. And the most hateful people in the worst hate groups dress it up in patriotism, the family, God. Anything wholesome is usually used to hide racism. And anyone who doesn't let people have 100% autonomy over their lives is hiding racism. Hate groups don't want everyone to be equal. And Christians that donate money to these groups, the money gets sent to different countries where they enact laws where they kill trans people. If you're in a hate group, if you're in a group that teaches anti-fluidity, it is a hate group. Every Baptist church I've ever been to was a hate group. Erasing people who exist in our society is a hate crime. If a child grows up never knowing that there are different kinds of people, they're a victim of queer erasing culture. And there's a very good chance the person is already transphobic because they've never been taught how to accept people. And hopefully at some point we'll stop allowing transphobia and trans politicians in positions of authority. But as long as religion dresses up transphobia as godly, patriotic, and family-friendly, we'll never grow out of the transphobia we're currently being suffocated with.